Good morning, friends and loved ones of the internet. We are in 2 Samuel chapter 13 today, and if you've been waiting on the part of the story of King David that requires Big Steve and Jerry of Jerry Springer, and if you've just been waiting for it to get downright nasty, we need Montel and Ricky Lake for this one. Here we are. Gosh, people gonna people, but you reap what you sow, right? And we saw this when Nathan, the prophet, is rebuking David. He's like, you're not dead in your sin, but you are gonna suffer the consequences of your action, boy. And so, David sins. What is sin? Transgression of the law, 1 John 3, verse 4. And he bangs Uriah the Hittite's wife, Bathsheba. They lose the child from that first coupling. David goes to the house of Yahweh, the Lord our God, and bows himself and atones. He confesses his sin and then makes Bathsheba one of several of his wives. And they conceive again, have yet another child. But Nathan rebukes him. He says, what you did in the darkness will be done to you in the light. In 12 verse 11, thus says Yahweh, see, I am raising up evil against you from your own house, and shall take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this sun, for you did it in secret, but I shall do this deed before all of Israel and before the sun. A little you reap what you sow action here. So then Joab, David's general, it's like, hey, listen, we're going to go over here and we're going to smash Rabbah, and you should probably come out of hiding, come out of being laid up in Jerusalem, and you should come smash Rabbah with us, or I'll just tell the people I did it myself. And so he goads David out of Jerusalem, and then we pick up in chapter 13. And after this, it came to be that Absalom, son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Ammon, the son of David, loved her. So Absalom, son of David, had a beautiful sister. David's son had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, son of David, loved her. So this is like some stepsister bro love going on here. And Amnon was distressed, even to become sick, because of his sister Tamar, for she was a maiden, and it was hard in the eyes of Amnon to do whatever to her. He was just absolutely consumed with lust, it sounded like. And Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, son of Shema, David's brother. So like another second cousin. And Jonadab was a very wise man. And he said to him, why are you, the sovereign's son, the king's son, becoming thinner day after day? Explain it to me. And Amnon said to him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said to him, lie down on your bed and pretend to be sick. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, please let my sister Tamar come and give me food, and make the food before my eyes so that I see it and eat it from her hand. So Amnon laid down and pretended to be sick. And when the king came to see him, Amnon said to the king, please let Tamar my sister come and make a couple of cakes for me before my eyes, so that I eat from her hand. And David sent to Tamar to the house, saying, please go to the house of your brother Amnon and make him some food. Easy enough. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house while he was lying down. And she took dough and kneaded it and made cakes before his eyes and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and turned them out before him, but he refused to eat. She's like, I made you some bread, bro. What's going on? And Amnon said, make everyone go away from me. And they all went out from him. And Amnon said to Tamar, bring the food into the bedroom that I eat from your hand. Amnon sounds like a real D-bag to me. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon, her brother, in the bedroom. And she brought them to him to eat, and he took hold of her and said to her, come, lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, no, my brother, Do not humble me, for it is not done so in Israel. Do not do this wickedness. Yeah. Do not do this wickedness. And I, where could I take my shame? And you would be like one of the fools in Israel. And now please speak to the king, for he would not withhold me from you. Like, if you really want me, bro, just go talk to the king. He will give you my hand in marriage, but don't rape me, bro. Where am I going to go? And you'll be considered a fool. This is what, the fact that this conversation even needs to happen is ridiculous. This is why, men, you should arm your daughters. This is me speaking, not the Bible. You should arm your daughters. They should know where to put things in people and stuff. And, you know, they didn't have these back in the day, but you might consider one of these for your daughter as well. Because no man will humble my daughter. The end. I will introduce him to the rock pile, and then he will feed my fields via compost. It also brings up, you should know where your daughters are at, shouldn't you? And you should know who's a scumbag and who isn't in your circles. But he would not listen to her voice, and being stronger than she, he humbled her and lay with her. He raped her. And Amnon then hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. Shame. And Amnon said to her, Arise, go. And she said to him, No, for this evil of sending me away is worse than the other you have done to me. But he would not listen to her. And he called his young man serving him and said, Now, put this one out away from me, and bolt the door behind her. And she had on a long coat, for the king's maidens' daughters wore such garments. And his servants put her out, and bolted the door behind her. And Tamar put ashes on her head, and tore her long coat that was on her, and put her hands on her head, and went away crying bitterly. And Absalom her brother said to her, Has Amnon your brother been with you? But now, keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart. He's like, you know, man, was it Amnon? I'm so sorry. Listen, don't take it too hard. He's your brother. So Tamar reigned in the house of her brother Absalom, but was ruined. I don't know, as the father of daughters. That's why there's a Torah for this. There is literally a Torah for this. You will make it right, or I will make you dead. And that's essentially the Torah. Yeah. But don't do it in the first place, because that's the Torah of Yeshua. Have your heart right, so that you're not doing this in the first place. If you look at that woman with lust in your eyes, you've committed adultery, says Yeshua. The completion of the Torah, Matthew 5:17. And King David heard all these reports, and he was very wroth. King David was pissed. And Absalom spoke to his brother Amnon, neither good nor evil. He didn't say a word to him, good or bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he had humbled his sister Tamar. So King David's pissed, Absalom's pissed. Tamar has been ruined, and Amnon has been hung out to dry, as he should be. And it came to be after 2 years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hatzor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the sons of the king. And Absalom came to the king and said, See, your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the king and his servants go with your servant. Hey man, we're going to go shear some sheep. I'd love it if everybody came. Wink, wink. We're going to go shear some sheep. I would love it if everybody came. You know what I mean, king? But the king said to Absalom, No, my son, let us not all go now, lest we be too heavy on you. And he urged him, but he would not go, and he blessed him. And Absalom said, If not, please let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said, Why should he go with you? And Absalom urged him, so he let Amnon and all the sons of the king go with him. And Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, Watch, and when the heart of Amnon is glad with wine, and I shall say to you, Strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and brave. Oof. Have I not commanded you, be strong and brave? What's that in alliteration to? Joshua 1, verses 6 through 9. We should probably read that. Come on, fingies. Joshua 1, 6 through 9. Be strong and courageous, for you are to let this people inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, to guard to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Do not turn aside from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Do not let this book of the Torah depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you guard to do according to all that has been written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous and act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid nor be discouraged, for Yahweh your Elohim is with you wherever you go. And so the implication here of a military action from Absalom to his dudes is like, hey, have I not commanded you? Wink, wink, be strong and courageous. Wink, wink. What do you think is going to be going down? His guys knew what was up. So, excuse me. I know, guys. I'm a mess today. I've got this, what do you call this? Postnasal drip. So, in the Talmud, which we don't follow, there's a reference to Deuteronomy 22, which is what I was looking for. Deuteronomy 22, verses 28 and 29. So, alright. We'll start at 23. When a girl who is a maiden is engaged to a husband, not Tamar, and a man finds her in a city and lies with her, then you shall bring them both out of the gate of that city and shall stone them to death with stones. The girl because she did not cry out in the city, and the man because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. Thus you shall purge evil from your midst. But if a man finds the girl who is engaged in the field, and the man takes a hold of her and lies with her, then only the man who lay with her shall die. Meaning that if the woman is not complicit in this, she's held harmless, as she should be. But the man who is laid with her shall die. But you shall do no matter to the girl, for the girl has no sin worthy of death. For the matter is like a man who rises against his neighbor and murders him, a soul. For he found her in the field, and she cried out, and the engaged girl, but without anyone to save her. When a man finds a girl who is a maiden who is not engaged, and he seizes her and lies with her, and they are found out, then the man who lay with her shall give to the girl's father 50 pieces of silver, and she is to be his wife because he has humbled her. He is not allowed to put her away all his days. A man does not take his father's wife, nor uncover his father's skirt. In other languages, it says uncover his father's nakedness, or robe, or extremity, or border, or wing. It's the Hebrew word kanaf. And it can mean all types of interesting things. Don't be lifting your daddy's hem. You don't need to be glancing up. You don't even be wondering what's going on down there. But here's the deal. So, Amnon over here raped Tamar and then put her out. That's against the Torah. There's no 50 pieces of silver. And she did she not cry out? No, my brother, do not humble me, for it is not done so in Israel. Do not do this wickedness. And there's an exclamation point there. That's the implication that she's raising her voice, right? And where could I take my shame? And you would be like one of the fools in Israel. And now please speak to the king, for he would not withhold me from you. It's just 50 pieces of silver, and this matter is handled. She knew the damn Torah. She had just been raped, and she knew the damn Torah. And she was protected under the Torah as she should be. She has no guilt, no shame, no responsibility. And she's still trying to walk in righteousness in this situation, and Amnon is not. But he would not listen to her voice, and being stronger than she, he humbled her and lay with her. Amnon then hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, arise and go. He physically had his servant pick her up and throw her out. So yeah, 100% violated the Torah, So, King David finds out, he's pissed. Absalom's like, don't worry, Daddy. I'll fix this. Let's go on a little hunt. Or what are we doing? No, we're going to go on a little sheep shearing. All right. So, back to 28. And Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, watch, and when the heart of Amnon is glad with wine, and I shall say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and brave. Then the servants of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the sons of the king rose up, and each one mounted his mule and fled. And it came to be, while they were on the way, that news came to David, saying, Absalom has stricken all the sons of the king, and not one of them is left. So, whoa, wait. So all the sons of the king get together, and they kill, not murder, because it was justified, they kill Amnon. And then they hop on their mules and they beat feet. They're out. Now, while they're beating feet and they're leaving, King David gets a message that says Absalom has killed all of the sons of the king. Remember, Absalom took him out to go shear sheep in this field. So David knows that Absalom has all of his sons. And so he hears this report that Absalom has killed all of his sons. That's not what happened. All of the sons with Absalom killed Amnon. And when it came to be, while they were left on the way, that news came to David, saying, Absalom has stricken all the sons of the king, and not one of them is left. And the king rose up and tore his garments and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with their garments torn. And Jonadab, the son of Shema, David's brother, answered and said to him, do not let my master say that they have killed all the young men, the sons of the king, for only Amnon is dead. For by the mouth of Absalom this has been appointed from the day that he humbled his sister Tamar. He's like, bro, what are you talking about? Absalom didn't kill everybody. He killed Amnon, which he said he was going to do the day he found out about Tamar. Basically, king, get your ass up off the floor and put your clothes back on. This is ridiculous. And now, let my master, the king, take the... let not the master, the king, take the matter to his heart, to think that all the sons of the king are dead, for only Amnon is dead. And Absalom fled. And the young man who was watching lifted up his eyes and looked and saw many people were coming from the way behind him on the side of the hill. Then Jonadab said to the king, look, the sons of the king are coming. As your servant said, it is so. And it came to be, as soon as he had finished speaking, that look, the sons of the king came, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And the king too, and all his servants wept bitterly. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son all the days. So Absalom couldn't go look daddy in the face. So he bounced. He went to Geshur, to the court of Ammihud. And David missed him. Of course he missed him. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and went there and was there 3 years. And King David then longed to go to Absalom, for he had been comforted concerning Amnon, because he was dead. Shall we do one more? I suppose we'll do one more. What do you think? Yes, T, let's do one more. All right, you got it. I heard that, Tanakh. That was you. That was you. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, remember Joab's his general, knew that the heart of the king was towards Absalom. So the general knows that King David is missing his son, right? And Joab sent to Tekoa, and brought from there a wise woman, who said to her, please pretend to be a mourner, and put on mourning garments, and do not anoint yourself with oil, but act like a woman who has been mourning a long time for the dead. Then you shall go to the king and speak to him according to this word. He's like, I want you to play some dress up, act like a lady who's been in mourning for a long time, and then say what I tell you to say. And Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and did obeisance, and said, save, O king. And the king said to her, what's your trouble? What's your problem, lady? And she answered, truly, I am a widow. My husband is dead. And your female servant had 2 sons, and the 2 fought with each other in the field, and there was no one to part them, but the one struck the other and killed him. And see, the entire clan has risen up against your female servant and said, give him who struck his brother so that we put him to death for the life of his brother, whom he killed, and destroy the heir, the son also. Thus they would extinguish my burning coal that is left, her seed, her DNA, her perpetuity, and leave to my husband neither name nor remnant on the earth. And the king said to the woman, go to your house, and let me give commands concerning you. He's like, you know what, let me think on this. Why don't you go take a potty break. I'm going to put some thought to this. And the woman of Tekoa said to the king, my master, O king, let the crookedness be on me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne be guiltless. And the sovereign said, whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and let him no longer touch you. David susses out somebody's putting words in this lady's mouth. He's like, whoever told you to say this, bring him here. By the way, you could probably see this speaker right here in the background. I just wanted to let you know, we got a little PA system for playing worship music on Shabbat, and gosh, I'm so glad that I did. It's 350 watts, bro. It freaking rocks. It's awesome. Like, back in the day when I played metal, I literally had a rack of 2400 watt amplifiers and stacks and stacks of PA cabinets. Like, fill an enclosed trailer full of PA cabinets. Like, it's the bomb. It's the bomb, bro. But I'm totally happy with this little tiny PA system we got. Just cranking some tunes. It's probably the best purchase I've made in 2021 thus far. So I would just encourage you, if there's like, maybe there's a quality of life thing you've been thinking about, praise the Father, it's not all serious all the time, and we use this for worship, and it's great. So if you've been wondering, hey, what's that thing back there? That's what that thing is. All right, so David susses out that this lady from Tekoa's got somebody else putting words in her mouth. And the king said, whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and let him no longer touch you. And she said, please let the king remember Yahweh your Elohim, and the Redeemer of blood, not destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, as Yahweh lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground. The woman said, please let your female servant speak a word to my master the king. And he said, all right, speak. And the woman said, and why have you reasoned like this against the people of Elohim? For in speaking this word, the king is as one who is guilty, and that the king does not bring his outcast one home again. For we shall certainly die and become like water spilled on the ground, which is not gathered up again. Yet Elohim does not take away a life, but shall devise ways so that his outcast ones are not cast out from him. What an amazing concept. It almost sounds like the prodigal son. I wonder where you get this parable from. Anyway, it's almost as if biblical truth is from the first page of the Bible to the last page of the Bible. Hey, there's a cardinal over there. No, I'm going to shoot it. I'm just playing. And now I have come to speak this word to my master the king, because the people have made me afraid. And your female servant said, please let me speak to the king. It could be that the king does what his female servant asks. For the king has listened to deliver his female servant from the hand of the man seeking to destroy me and my son together from the inheritance of Elohim. Then your female servant said, please let the word of my master the king be comforting, for my master the king is as the messenger of Elohim, and discerning the good and the evil, and Yahweh your Elohim is with you. And the king answered and said to the woman, please do not hide from me the matter that I am asking you. And the woman said, please let my master the king speak. And the king said, is the hand of Joab with you in all of this? He goes, all right, lady, you made your point. It's probably time to bring Absalom home. Question, is Joab the one who told you to say these things? And the woman answered and said, as your soul lives, my master the king, no one turns to the right or the left from all that my master the king has spoken. For your servant Joab commanded me, and he put all these words in my mouth, in the mouth of your female servant. Your servant Joab has done this to change the appearance of the matter. But my master is wise, according to the wisdom of a messenger of Elohim, to know all that is in the earth. She's basically saying, yeah, king, you're right. Joab told me to say this, but we were trying to get you to see your situation from a different perspective so that you'd render a righteous judgment on it and then apply that own righteous judgment to yourself so that Absalom could come home again, because Joab knows you miss your boy, bro. And the king said to Joab, see now, you shall do this matter, and go, bring back the young man, Absalom. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and did obeisance, and blessed the king. And Joab said, today your servant knows that I have found favor in your eyes, O master, O sovereign, in the sovereign that has done the word of his servant. And Joab rose up and went to Geshur, and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, let him return to his own house, but do not let him see my face. And Absalom went to his own house and did not see the king's face. And in all Israel there was no one who was praised as much as Absalom for his handsomeness. Remember, David was like the guy, right? Saul killed his thousands and David his 10,000s, right? And everybody loved him, and he was pale and ruddy and handsome, and yeah. And in all Israel there was no one who was praised as much as Absalom for his handsomeness. From the sole of his foot to the crown of his head there was no blemish in him. And when he cut the hair of his head, for it was at every year's end that he cut it, because it was heavy on him, when he cut it, he weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels by the sovereign's weight. 200 shekels. I don't remember how many. Let's go to the back of the book. Let's see what a shekel weighs. I know. You know, a pastor would have known this. Oh, a shekel is clearly 20 gerahs. 20 gerahs or 2 bekas. Or bikas. Bikas, I imagine it is. It's 0.4 ounces. So 20 times 0.4, 20 times 4 would be 80. So 20 times 0.4 would be 8 ounces. But it's 200, so it'd be 80 ounces. It's 200. Let's do some quick math here. Where'd it go? 200 shekels. 200 times 0.4. Yes, 80. 80 ounces. Divided by 16 ounces in the pound. That's 5 pounds of hair. He lost 5 pounds every time he got a haircut. That's a considerable amount of hair. All right, now that we've established that, indeed, in the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses, that's a lot of dang hair, bro. And to Absalom were born 3 sons, and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. She was a woman of beautiful appearance. And Absalom dwelt in Jerusalem 2 years, and he had not seen the king's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the king, but he would not come to him. And he sent again the 2nd time, but he would not come. And he said to his servants, see, Joab's field is near mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servants set the field on fire. Then Joab rose up and came to the house of Absalom, and and said to him, why have your servants set my field on fire? And Absalom said to Joab, look, I sent to you, saying, come here, so that I send you to the king to say, why have I come from Geshur? It was good for me while I was there. So Absalom has been trying to get a hold of Joab to get Joab to get an audience with the king so that Absalom and King David can have a conversation about why he was brought back from Geshur. Because in Geshur, he was having a pretty good time there. But then he was whisked away back to Jerusalem on behalf of Joab, because Joab had sued for peace with David from the woman from Tekoa. Everybody keeping track here? Yeah, I know. Like I said, we need Maury and Montel and Ricky Lake and Jerry and Big Steve for all of this shenaniganry and nonsense. Oh, and he's had 4 kids, by the way, one of which was a girl that he named after Tamar, who was his sister that he loved, that Amnon raped, which is why Amnon ended up getting killed by all the sons of King David. So they're all complicit in this, which led to the rumor that Absalom had killed all the sons, but that's not what happened, because this other dude, whatever his name was, said, no, that's not what would happen. I know. Ridiculous. What was his name? Yariba or something like that? Copaiba. I think that was his name. Because Copaiba said, no, that wouldn't happen. All of which led to his exile in Geshur, which now he's been brought back. And he's like, I'd like to know why I've been brought back here, but the king won't see me. And I've been trying to get you to come over and talk to me, but you wouldn't come over and talk to me. So yeah, I set your damn field on fire, got your attention now, don't I? Then Joab rose up and came to the house of Absalom and said to him, Why have your servants set my field on fire? And Absalom said to Joab, Look, I sent to you saying, Come here, so that I send you to the king to say, Why have I come from Geshur? It was good for me while I was there, and now let me see the king's face. And if there's any crookedness in me, then you shall put me to death. And Joab, he's like, I can't take it anymore, bro. Let's resolve this damn thing. Kill me or leave me alone. Joab then went to the king and informed him, and he called for Absalom, and came to the king, and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king. And then the king kissed Absalom. Not like they weren't making out. It was like a show of peace and love. And so, we've got a little bit of release of tension there by the time we get to the end of 14. So, I know, crazy story. Stick around. The story of King David doesn't get much less crazy. So, thanks for bearing with me. I am still in a lot of pain from surgical recovery. As you may be able to tell, the meds that I'm on make me just a little bit loopy, but not so loopy that I feel uncomfortable reading the Father's Word. In fact, like I said, they're not incredibly powerful. I'm still in a lot of pain, to say nothing of the post-nasal drip. So, I appreciate your prayers, very much so. And I appreciate you tuning in each week. And I really appreciate you taking the time to spend time in your word with your eyeballs and talking to your Creator and learning the history of your people and taking personal control of your faith and your relationship with the Father through Yeshua. It humbles me to be a part of it. Bless y'all. Shalom. Hit the button. I'm trying to hit the button. I'm going to hit the button right now. Just simmer down. Simmer down.